Welcome or welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars. The voice you hear is Alexander. I am presenting you today the Bulgari Bronzo Chronograph and the Bulgari Bronzo GMT watch, and I would call that when aluminium goes bronze. Why do I say this? Of course, you recognize the watch. The base is the Bulgari Aluminium watch that was initially presented from Bulgari in 1998, and then 5 years ago in 2020 during the Geneva Watch Days, the sporty chic aluminium was presented in a redesigned way with more contemporary dimensions, increased water resistance, and of course with mechanical movements. And now 2025, 5 years later, after the relaunch in Geneva Watch Days, they presented the aluminium version in bronze. And of course, they don't call it Bulgari Aluminium Bronze, they call it Bulgari Bronzo. It is an Italian brand, so Bronzo, not bronze, Bronzo. If you want to pronounce it, do it smoothly, Bronzo. This is the right way to pronounce it. Yeah, the Italian has to be pronounced very smoothly, Bronzo, not Bronzo. Okay, so let's talk about these watches. Beautifully made. I like them very much because they are something different. You have to get a closer look on them. Watch the video. I will tell you everything about dimensions, sizes, etc., background about the movements. Just stay tuned, enjoy the video. And yeah, have a closer look. It's the Christmas season. Maybe you want to gift such a watch, or you want to make a present to yourself and say, oh, this is cool, because the watches are different. It's not mainstream. You will have your own style. You stick to a certain coolness, Italian Dolce Vita style. It's different. Have a look at them and enjoy our video, of course.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
Let us start with the Bulgari Bronzo Chronograph with its bronze sandblasted case with that thick black rubber bezel, good-looking watch. So the diameter of the watch is 41 millimeter and the thickness of the watch is 12.35 millimeter, quite thick, but this is due to the construction of the movement, and I will talk about it just in a while. The lug-to-lug distance is either 42 millimeter or 49 millimeter. This depends on where you measure it. Last but not least, the dial aperture is 29 millimeter. The watch, as you see, fits perfectly on a wrist. If you like the size of 41 millimeters, the thickness also goes well with it, so no problems in terms of wearability. Really fits perfectly on the wrist. Now let us come to the functions of the chronograph. On the one hand side, you have the running second positioned at 3 o'clock, and to the chronograph belonging the 30-minute counter at 9 o'clock and the 12-hour counter at 6 o'clock. These counters do also distinguish themselves in design quite nicely, so you quickly see that the counters at 6 and 9 o'clock do, of course, belong to the chronograph, and the running second has a much more finer subdivision. Look at 3 o'clock, you see this, of course, belongs to the hour and the minute indication. Yes, what you clearly see is the start-stop pusher positioned as always at 2 o'clock, and the reset pusher is positioned at 4 o'clock, as always with such chronographs, and this is not a flyback watch. So start-stop, you see it, and then reset. Yes. Pulling out the crown also quickly shows us that the movement features hacking seconds. So you see that if you pull out the crown in the second position, everything stops. The central second hand stopped, and also the running seconds, they stopped. And once you push in again, the whole thing starts to run, of course. Also good to see is the date indication. I like that very much. I know this is pretty often discussed and seen as not so cool or positive. I like the date being positioned at 4:30 because it is not disturbing in a chronograph. Imagine if the date would have been positioned at 6 o'clock. Yep. Then prominently there positioned, our counter would not look as good or would have an interruption in between 5 and 7 o'clock due to the date window. So 4:30 for me is a good decision. And you see that once you turn over midnight that it is an instantaneous date change. The case is water resistant to 100 meters, so you can swim with it, you can use it in water conditions, most likely not a diver, but Yeah, you could do it. Of course, it's waterproof 100 meters. Why not using it for diving? It's a bronze watch. Go, if you want. But still, I wanted to quickly talk about the black matte varnish dial with the white tachymeter scale that delivers a real strong contrast to the hands, and so readability is excellent, more than excellent. And I also want to mention that the graduation for the chronograph in between the second dots, the three little dots, the graduation for the chronograph is made correctly. The watch is powered by a base Celita SW300, and that is packed with a Bvlgari Chronograph module. And this is why I said in the beginning of the video, this is why the watch is a little bit thicker than it could be in theory, but okay. It is the entry price level of Bulgari, and you have to make some compromises here. Thickness, I said it before, 12.35 millimeters, and this is due to that construction. You have a module put on the base caliber. And now let's quickly have a look at that brilliantly executed rubber strap that is fully integrated in the watch with a Velcro mechanism to open it and to close it. And what is really top-notch and cool are these two little nipples you see when you slide out the strap, and you know why they have done it, of course, because they wanted to really fix the loop where it is supposed to be, and with these two little nipples it is guaranteed that the loop stays where it has to stay. Very nicely done, very cool, bravo Bulgari. The case is made out of bronze, but not the case back, not the crown on the pushers. They are made out of black DLC coated titanium. This is a choice, and yeah, for stability and other reasons it is better to make it in titanium. Before we have a look at the Bronzo GMT, let me quickly resume. What you get here is a really good looking chronograph, standing a little bit out of the crowd, I would say. On the one hand side, yeah, it's a gold material, so it will attract some attention on the wrist, but on the other hand side, when people then ask, what are you wearing, kind of a gold watch, and then you start the story with, no, it's not gold, of course not, that's bronze. And then, yeah, the watch will have some patina after some weeks, months of wearing. Then you can start telling your personal story with the watch. And you said, okay, I bought it, you remember, I remember, it was quite, now it has some patina, etc. It looks good, it will live with you, it will tell a story. Enjoy a look on it. I would recommend you go to a Bulgari boutique and have a closer look on that watch. I really like it, as you just heard me being really enthusiastic about that chronograph. This is the Bronzo GMT with its bronze sand-blasted case with a black rubber bezel. You heard me saying this before, of course, same. The difference is, yeah, the Bronze GMT is a little bit smaller. 40 millimeter is the diameter of the watch, and the thickness is only 9.7 millimeter. Yes, this is due to the fact that it doesn't use a module movement. It is a Celita SW330. So the lug-to-lug distance is either 41 or 48 millimeters, depending on where you are measuring it. The so-called dial aperture is 28 millimeter. This watch has, yeah, in analogy, of course, the same intense contrast on the dial with the black and the hands that really contrast very well. Also perfect readability at night. Both of the watches, the readability is excellent. It's due to the high contrast of the black varnished dial on the one hand side, and of course these prominent hands. So good readability. You also see from the side, and you see how perfectly everything is made, that the watch really literally hugs your wrist and perfectly fits on it. And with that size of 40 millimeter and the thickness of 9.7 millimeter, it is really a nice watch to wear. And you can also, I think, quite easily slide it under the sleeve of a shirt. I want to repeat once again, when you have a closer look at this Velcro strap, it is so nicely done. And I want to point out again these two little nipples at the end of it that really stabilize the loop. And it is so clever to do it, because otherwise this loop would slide around, and also cover the nicely made and stamped in Bulgari logo. They're Italians and they go into details and they know exactly what they are doing. Now let me talk about the GMT function of the watch. As I said, it is a Sellita SW330 base. It's a 4 Hz movement, 28,800 semi-oscillation, same as the chronograph. And what you have is you have the hour hand, the minute hand, and you do have a prominently positioned hand that shows the time in a second zone time. Why do I say zone time? Because the time zone is, let me say, Paris. Here in Europe, I am in the time zone of Paris, and the zone time shown or being displayed on a watch in the time zone of Paris is GMT +1 or GMT +2 in summer. So the hand with the prominent arrow will be able to be set independently to the hour hand, and so once you arrive in another time zone, if you arrive in another time zone, you can set your local zone time by just pulling out the crown, and then you have in reference with the hour hand the local time, and with that hand with the prominent arrow on it you have the local time. So readability is good. The functioning of the watch is also very logical and easy. So you just pull out the crown and you position it, and once the hands continue to turn, of course the hour hand, this second hour hand will of course also move along, and you can always see time here, time there. Pulling out the crown, you see we are running you quickly through the different numbers so you can see how they appear on the dial. The date disc is also a black, that is nicely done, so looks good. Readability also here. But maybe the date window, the same also for the chronograph, both are a little bit small, and in this case a little magnifying glass, as just recently shown in another video we presented you with a Breitling watch, would not be as bad as one could think. Okay, you can say, yeah, they copy roll, but forget it. I said it in the other video too. This is good because readability is increased, and you're wearing a watch and you want to be able to read everything perfectly. Time is perfectly readable. The date window could be a little bit small. Could be. Depends how good your eyes are, of course. So end of the video, let me quickly resume both watches. It is a choice you can make in buying a watch that is not among those quickly being recognized on a wrist or to show off. Bulgari is an individual style. You either like it or you don't. But if you like it, and if you're a little bit into that Italian style, easygoing, cool look, this is a perfect watch, both of them. Because as I told you before, bronze will live with you. You can tell lots of stories, and yeah, you can then also correct people saying, hey, you're wearing a gold watch. How do you? No, bronze. Even as though if I might be one of the latest to buy one because everybody else has already one, don't care about it. This is just cool, I have to say, because I already like very much the aluminium. Aluminium is understatement, it's pure understatement. You know, it's just something, either you know it, then you'll say, oh, Bulgari, okay, I know everything, or you just ignore it because you don't recognize it. So it will not show off, and it will not be something that tells a status. It's a style, it's a choice. Go for it, have a look at the Bulgari boutiques, the prices, we showed them in the video. These are prices from December 2025. So of course, due to taxes, import taxes, local taxes, prices might change, but the prices we have been showing are from December 2025. Thanks again for watching a video on WatchAdvisor on YouTube. Where the watches are the stars, nothing else, you just saw watches. You're the voice of Alexander. Enjoy the time before Christmas, have some fun. See you later here back on our channel. Thanks a lot for watching the video on WatchAdvisor on YouTube, and if you think that this is your channel, please check out our website, watchadvisor.com, and especially our community section on our website to really get in touch with us, to share lots of things. You will get more detailed information about the watch industry, in-depth videos, more fun will happen there. So if you're interested, have a look at watchadvisor.com.